What's going on, fellow Maplers? Just as we did with Will, I'm back to help you crush Lucid. But first, let's get through the requirements. The base requirements are level 220 and have completed the questline that pops up when you enter Lachlan. But you should aim for the following before you even attempt Lucid. Normal Lucid is level 230, you should be at least level 230 to deal full damage. Any higher levels will be bonus final damage up to a maximum of 20%. Also aim to get Arcane Force as high as possible. The cutoffs are 360 for full damage, 396 for 10%, 468 for 30%, and 540 for 50% more damage. However, these requirements do not set a realistic expectation for how much damage you actually need to do in order to solo clear or participate in parties. A general rule of thumb is that if you can comfortably solo clear the tier of bosses below the current boss, you're able to struggle your way through the next tier. Since damage is based on too many variables, I would recommend trying out the following to see if you're ready. Utilize the remainder of the guide to practice solo on easy Lucid. It's pretty much the same mechanically, but has 50% less HP. Your goal should be to make it to phase 2 by yourself within the time limit. Once you complete this, you're ready for party play or can continue progressing your damage to be able to solo clear on normal. Lastly, healing familiars make bosses significantly easier. Especially if you're new to a boss, I would highly recommend getting them to help you mitigate smaller sources of damage. All you need to do is look for rare familiars that read continually restores HP. Each one heals 10% HP every 10 seconds, which stacks. That's it for the requirements. Now let's jump into the boss mechanics. Similar to many bosses, Lucid will clutter your screen with many different types of attacks. The best piece of advice I can give you is to ignore all the clutter on screen and focus just on your character. You'll be able to dodge the majority of lethal attacks through indicators that happen near you. Your goal is to mitigate as many lethal attacks as possible while damaging Lucid. You get 10 lives during this boss fight. There's no shame in using any of them. Your lives are a resource. In Phase 1, Lucid is in a fixed location. I would recommend standing a short distance away from Lucid, but close enough to continually damage her. Before I get into insta-kill mechanics, you'll need to focus on small, intentional movements to avoid a couple of attacks. The main attack you're looking out for is when she summons a golem or spiky mushroom monster near your location. These are fairly choreographed, but happen fast. You'll want to immediately move out of the way of the spawning mob. If you're near them, they will quickly attack you for 70% HP each hit. This will cause very quick deaths if you're not paying attention. It is also important to note that trying to jump over the golems will instantly kill you. While you're fighting Lucid, try to line up your character to damage both the golems and her to clear them off your screen, creating more space to avoid other attacks. The second attack to look out for is when Lucid jumps up and starts glowing. This is a very choreographed attack that is important for both Phase 1 and 2. She will shoot out large waves that do rapid damage when you're hit by them. These are your second priority to dodge. Finally, base attacks and lines of flowers will appear on the screen. Again, just focus on your character and do small movements to get out of the way of most of the attacks. If you get hit, it's not the end of the world. Your familiars and potions should take care of most of the damage from these sources. These are low priority to dodge. Next, let's move on to insta-kill attacks that you need to avoid. For the first attack, a bomb timer will appear above your head. This will count down from 3. The best way to avoid this attack is to use short cooldown skills that make you invulnerable at the moment it turns from 1 to 0. This will block all damage. Alternatively, look for small crystal balls on the map. When you and party members stand in them simultaneously, it will split the bomb damage amongst all characters, allowing you to survive. While solo, this still does 90% HP within the orb, so you'll need to heal to full in order to survive the attack. The second attack you need to watch out for is when the text appears on screen noting a powerful monster is coming. You will have about 5 seconds to move to the edge of the screen to stand behind the dragon and avoid the attack. This can spawn on either side of the map, and if it is on your side of the map, simply move to the edge to avoid. If the dragon spawns on the far side of the map, I would recommend using your long burst skills that give you periods of invulnerability to avoid the attack damage altogether. Alternatively, if your class has the appropriate mechanics, you can just jump straight into the air and hover over the blast until it's over. If you don't have a skill that provides invulnerability through the attack, you will need to be aware of one other mechanic. Once you are safely out of the way of the monster, watch Lucid. If a white orb appears in her hand, you need to cast Hero's Will or equivalent skill that avoids major debuffs for 3 seconds. The white orb indicates that Lucid will teleport you. If she does this during the monster attack, it will result in an instant death. Finally, you need to know about Lucid's special boss mechanic. As you fight her, butterflies will slowly appear around the screen. Every time you clear 1/10 of Lucid's health, it grants access to use the trumpet statues that are on either side of the map. As you fight her, occasionally make your way to one of the statues and hold down the interact key to avoid additional special attacks from Lucid. I won't cover these attacks because you can entirely avoid them by doing this. Phase 1 is by far the hardest part of the fight. Phase 2 is much easier, although it appears hard initially. Instead of Lucid remaining stationary, she will start to fly around the screen. Similar to the first phase, you'll want to keep some distance from Lucid. Just like before, Lucid will periodically glow and release the wave attack. Creating a gap will give you plenty of time to dodge. Additionally, keep an eye out for that same bomb attack to appear over your head. Similarly, deal with it by making yourself invulnerable as the timer moves from 1 to 0 seconds, or heal to full and stand in one of the crystal spheres that appear on the map. Outside of those mechanics, to make this phase as simple as possible, you will have a home base. The home base is the top right platform on the screen. When text appears on screen indicating Lucid will use a special attack, go to the top right platform. Everything may be dodged from there fairly easily. The first attack you'll need to know is Lucid may spawn a powerful monster on screen as she did in the first phase. If you're standing on the top platform, it just can't hit you. The second and third attacks are special attacks for this stage. Text will appear indicating Lucid will use a powerful attack. For one of those, Lucid will glow and start to fly around the map in a fixed path. Go to the top right platform and jump to avoid her as she passes by. There are actual safe spots for this, but she may simultaneously summon the dragon, so it's just best practice to go to the top platform to avoid both. For the other attack, Lucid will start to spawn laser beams that target you, dealing large chunks of damage. The lasers give you time to react, but don't freak out and jump all around. All you need to do is slowly walk across the map or jump between platforms to avoid them. Small intentional movements are best. And that's really all you need to know. After you clear this phase, you now have access to butterfly droplets, which when traded alongside 9 arcane river droplets, gives you phantasma coins. These are used for arcane gloves, cape, boots, and weapon. You also have a chance to get the Twilight Mark, which will likely be an upgrade to your face accessory slot. Right? Super simple. When this video helps you crush this nerd, like and subscribe.